It's a bad time to be the home team in the Major League Baseball postseason. Dodgers went on the road, took care of business in Milwaukee in the first two games of the postseason, and bring the series back to Los Angeles with the hopes of getting back to the World Series in consecutive seasons. And on the other side, in the American League, the Mariners went on the road to the Toronto Blue Jays Stadium and took care of business there as well. And obviously, there is still a lot of baseball left. Anything can happen, but when you are hosting the first two games of the series, the goal is to win those and go on the road with a 2-0 lead. If you're the road team, all you're really trying to do is split the series 1-1. So when you go back home, it is even. And both the Mariners and Dodgers exceeded their own expectations there. And now they're both in the driver's seat. And I do feel like at this point, it is going to be a Mariners-Dodgers World Series. Dodgers at the top of the season, they were my World Series pick. It just kind of felt like, hey, they're gonna bust out a few World Series appearances at least, possibly championships as well. I would love to see the Milwaukee Brewers pull through and rally back. If there's a team that can do it, it is the Milwaukee Brewers. Their offense is going to need to get going because they've scored 2 runs over 18 innings so far. That is not a recipe for success if you're the Brewers. So get on the board early and get ahead and make the Dodgers catch up to you. Because Dodgers, while they're winning, they're winning because of their pitching staff right now. It's not like they're blowing anybody out of the water offensively either. Scored 2 runs in game 1, 5 runs in game 2. So Milwaukee just needs to wake up a little bit and we can have ourselves a series. Hopefully we do. Because I think, honestly, the hope would be that the Brewers and Mariners are the two teams that end up in the World Series because they're the 2 teams remaining that have never won a championship. So you would guarantee a new championship if we got there. Now, on the flip side, in the American League, Mariners up 2-0 over the Blue Jays. And honestly, in pretty dominant fashion. So game 1, won 3-1. It was an entertaining game, but got out ahead early and ended up winning 10-3 in game 2 and took a lot of momentum back to Seattle. And it's starting to feel like, if you are watching this season, that, you know, I say it every week, I think at this point, that we try to count the Mariners out, but sometimes it's just your year, right? And it's starting to feel like this year is the Seattle Mariners year. You have everything going right for you. You have the potential MVP in Cal Raleigh that had a historic season as a catcher and as a switch hitter. You have Julio Rodriguez. Your pitching staff is firing on all cylinders. And you have a city that is just excited about you and embracing you. And you're in your first championship series in 24 years. You won your first home playoff game in 24 years as well. There's a lot of boxes that you've checked as a franchise and kind of gotten that monkey off of your back. And now, really, you're in the driver's seat, like I said, and you really have nothing to lose. You've already exceeded everybody's expectations, I think. So now it's just go and finish the job. This is your season to lose at this point if you're the Mariners. And looking at the Mariners offensively, you mentioned Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh is living up to the hype in the postseason. A lot of these guys We see it time and time again where Aaron Judge is the greatest regular season hitter we've ever seen, right? And he gets into the postseason and he basically goes dark. Aaron Judge had one moment in the postseason this year. He had a 3-run shot, game-tying shot in the division series. But Kyle Riley is doing everything that you want your MVP candidate to be doing. He is productive. He's coming up in the big moments when he needs to. And it's same old from the regular season to the postseason with him. Jorge Polanco as well, living up to the hype. His multiple big hits in this postseason has solidified himself as a postseason hero for these 2025 Seattle Mariners. Bullpen for the Mariners has been lights out. They've pitched 9 innings and they've given up 1 hit in those 9 innings. 4 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. They're taking care of business. Starters as well. Bryce Miller in game 1, 6 innings, 2 hits, gave up 1 run, 3 Ks. And then you look at the Blue Jays and what they're doing. In over 2 games, they've used 14 pitchers, right? Starter went 5 2/3 on game 1, which you'll take that out of your starter. And game 2, 4 innings, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks. And just not a good day for your starter in a must-win game 2. So Mariners are in control there, and I don't know if they'll sweep, but I would love to see the Mariners be able to win this series in 5 games, and advance to the World Series in front of the home crowd. Now, the National League Championship Series is kind of crazy. So game 1, Dodgers won 2-1, but Dodgers had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 4th. Max Muncy hits a shot out to center field, and center fielder kind of bobbles it off his glove, bounces off the wall, gets back in his glove, so it's not a catch. But relays the ball in to home, gets a force out at home. Nobody knows what's happening. And then Contreras, after he tags home, he runs to third and tags third for the second force out, getting the Brewers out of the inning. So it went from Max Muncy's about to hit a grand slam to your standard 8-6-2 double play that we see week in and week out, right? But we have to talk about Dodgers pitching. Dodgers starting pitching specifically. So game 1, Blake Snell has the ball and throws 8 innings, gives up 1 hit, doesn't give up a run, and has 10 strikeouts over those 8 innings. Bullpen gave up a run in the 9th, but absolute dominance from Blake Snell, who has been there, done that. And then you go to game 2, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitches a complete game, 3 hits, 1 run, 7 Ks over those 9 innings. So you have 17 innings from your starters over 2 games, which in baseball right now is completely unheard of. In the postseason, it's even less common. So you have been able to preserve your bullpen basically entirely. You use 2 pitchers in game 1. But the Dodgers are doing everything that they need to be doing to take control of this series. And Dodgers are really good, man. So I don't know if the Brewers will come back from it. It doesn't get easier for the Brewers at all. And let's say it's Mariners, Dodgers. It's going to be a tall task for anybody that has to face the Dodgers. But I do think if the Dodgers make it, it will be the entire country versus LA. I don't think anybody's interested in seeing LA win back-to-back championship. Now, before we get out of here, there's a little bit of news regarding managerial vacancies across the league. So a couple weeks ago, Bruce Bochy, who's manager of the Texas Rangers, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, he retired, and the Rangers already hired Skip Schumacher to replace him. Skip Schumacher has been manager for the Marlins before and left that organization. Padres manager Mike Schilt, who has been at the helm for a couple of years in San Diego, decided to go ahead and retire, which little bit surprising. He had just gotten that job and felt like he had stabilized their team a little bit. So probably a shock to the system there. But because he still had time on his contract. He had just signed an extension prior to 2025. So still had some time left on it. I don't know if he thought that the window was closing and he didn't believe in the future, or if he just said, you know what, I'm good. But congrats to Mike Schilt on retirement. Twins manager Rocco Baldelli, gone. He's somebody that we talked about earlier in the season, of somebody that was probably in the hot seat and wasn't long for his job. And yep, that's what happened. According to MLB.com, Twins have already began doing interviews. They've interviewed Yankees hitting coach James Rosen and Red Sox bench coach Ramon Vasquez. Other candidates from MLB.com, Kurt Suzuki, who is with the Angels right now in their front office, and the former Pirates manager Derek Shelton. And for Derek Shelton, I don't know much about him as a manager. All I know is he was the Pirates manager, and Pirates organization is not very good. And maybe if he can go to a different organization, whether it's the Twins or maybe the Orioles, I would like to think that he could have a little bit more success with some help from the front office and ownership there. But for the Orioles, speaking of them, Brandon Hyde, who was their manager, got let go very early in the season this year. Orioles obviously had high expectations. But according to MLB.com again, the Cubs bench coach Ryan Flaherty is kind of the favorite for that job right now. Los Angeles Angels have a managerial opening as well. Ron Washington has stepped away from the team. He was gone a lot this season. He had some health stuff that happened this year. He had a quadruple bypass in June and was away from the team for a long time. Angels decided to move on from him, which kind of made sense, honestly. But something that has been kind of thrown around a lot and seems to have a lot of weight to it is that Albert Pujols is kind of the favorite for the Angels manager position, which that'd be really cool. Obviously, Albert Pujols is one of the greatest hitters of his generation. If you grew up in the 2000s, you were trying to mimic Albert Pujols' batting stance and be the machine. I am curious to see if being a great hitter translates to being a great manager. So we'll see. I hope that he gets the job because that would be a lot of fun. Braves manager Brian Snitker retired. That's something that was kind of expected coming into this season, regardless of what happened. Brian Snitker is going to have an advisory role in the Braves organization moving forward. So some of the candidates from MLB.com is Mark Bowman, David Ross, who was the Cubs manager prior to Craig Counsell, Mark DeRosa, who spends his time on MLB Network, but also managed Team USA before, are some people that are being looked at. Giants, Bob Melvin is out in San Francisco. Giants did pick up Bob Melvin's option for 2026, but I think just the fact that they were in a playoff position and ended up having a collapse. Really, after Rafael Devers came to town, everything went south. Not blaming Rafael Devers there, but that's just kind of where it started. Things went south, and I think that Buster Posey just felt like they needed to go in a new direction. So we'll see kind of what goes down there in San Francisco. And there's a handful more managerial vacancies. The Rockies are in the market. Nationals are in the market. So we'll kind of pay attention to that. I would imagine nothing's going to be announced until after the World Series. So that's about 2 weeks from now. The Game 7, if necessary, for the World Series is November 1st. So we might know by then or the week after. But we've got, right now, the Game 3 of the championship series, both in the AL and NL, coming up. Blue Jays Mariners play tonight. Brewers and Dodgers get back going tomorrow. So we will see you in the next one.